And hi, my name is Lidia Alvarez. I'm a researcher on the field of acoustic of heritage buildings. I've been working with cathedrals most of my research career. First as a predoctoral researcher at the University of Seville, based at the acoustic group of the School of Architecture, where I did my PhD on the acoustics of Andalusian cathedrals. And in the last 2 years, I've been working as a postdoctoral Marie Curie Fellow at the Theatre, Film, Television and Interactive Media Department of the University of York. I'm here today to give you an overview of my research work, presenting, sharing with you the purpose of this topic of research, the motivation of that, and an overview of the methodology we normally use to study the acoustics of cathedrals. I don't know how to open this.
It takes some time.
Okay, let's wait.
Don't worry, it happens. So te lo digo cuando.
Okay.
No te preocupes que esto lo cortamos.
Vale. Quizá no me he dado cuenta, pero podíamos haber puesto la primera diapositiva de fondo mientras me presentaba.
No, porque mejor así que se te vea, ¿no? Ah, bueno, veo que no... ¿Te funciona o no? Si no, lo hago yo.
No, me pone que está subida, pero no puedo abrirla.
Vale, pues entonces lo comparto yo, ¿vale?
Vale.
Y tú me dices... Uy, mira que me ha pasado antes lo mismo, ¿eh? Vale, espérate un momento. Es que está tonta esta plataforma ahora. Espera que voy a borrar este. Eliminar archivo de manera que ya no tenga ninguna duda de que estoy compartiendo. Vale. Go ahead.
Ok.
Y puedes pasar con esta flechita de abajo, ¿vale? Venga.
Vale, methodology. Voy a enganchar ahí. So the first question you may ask me is why cathedrals? Why this type of buildings? And the answer is because cathedrals are an important group of heritage buildings in Europe, and they are part of our culture. And with no doubt, sound is an essential element that impacts on how we behave when we step into a cathedral and how we interact with the building. So cathedrals are in constant evolution. They are always in need of restoration works, reconfigurations of the interior space, updates, and all these changes they may suffer can affect the acoustics we experience inside. And so that's why this research is kind of important, and we would like to highlight the importance of the acoustic as an essential element of the intangible heritage of cathedrals. But how can we done this? Okay, the methodology we follow is based on acoustic measurements and simulation techniques. We use to gather a set of room impulse responses. A room impulse response is a signal which contains all the information on how the room or the space modified a sound that is being played at a certain source position in a listener position. So then these signals can be used for the analysis and also for the oralizations. I will present later what this means. Okay, so we normally start with the experimental measurements. With the measurements, we gather the information of how the building behaves now. And basically, we spend long hours in the unoccupied temple or the unoccupied building to register a set of room input responses related with a certain number of source and receiver combinations. We carefully set throughout the space, taking into consideration the architectural features of the room and also the past and the present uses of the space. So once we gather this set of measurements, we analyze physically the properties of the space by using mainly the room acoustic parameters defined in the standard. Once we have this information, we start with the acoustic simulation. We first build the acoustic model, which is a geometrically simple model in which we defined the acoustic properties of each surface by using coefficients called absorption and scattering coefficients, depending on the material, the finishing material they have, the type of decoration, and so on. This is an example of the model of the Cathedral of Malaga, so that you can see the type of simplifications I'm referring to. And each color in the model represents one of this material we need to kind of acoustic characterize in some sense. So once we have the model built, what we do is to validate that model by using an iterative process in which we compare the values we obtain from the measurements and from the simulations. And once the model is calibrated or validated, we can use that model in the first instance to go further in our analysis. For example, we can create the acoustic mappings you can see on the picture. We can increase the number of source and receiving position and simulate, for example, different degrees of occupations and introduce different hypotheses to see how they acoustically behave in the space. And we can also simulate the building at different points in history so that we can assess the acoustics of the building over time. This is an example of the Lady Chapel of the Ely Cathedral in the UK. You can see how we modify the building at different points in history, and then we analyze the parameters we obtain. But not only the parameters, we can also simulate and generate the room input responses associated to these models so that we can kind of listen to the results as well. This type of research is not only interesting for the scientific community, which could, of course, benefits of the knowledge we gather through the measurements, through the simulation, people like architects or physicists or acousticians. But it's also meaningful for society because with the new input responses we gather, they can kind of experience the building in a different way, even when they are not able to go to their sites by themselves. And this is thanks to the oralization we can generate by using the room input responses. And oralization is a process by which a dry recording, normally registered in a reflection-free environment, such as an anechoic chamber, you can see in the pictures, is modified by using the room input responses so that we transfer the acoustic properties of the space to that dry recording, so that when someone is listening to that content, it's kind of virtually transport to that place. Before I finish this short presentation, I would like to say that the work is not done by myself. It's something I have done with all my colleagues at the University of Seville and at the University of York, and has been funded through different European research projects. Thank you very much for your attention, and if you are curious about this research and you would like to see more examples, case studies, I invite you to visit the website cathedralacoustic.com.